and gentlemen, tonight is a very important night for me, and I hope for you all, because we'll learn a lot about my guest, and I can assure you that you in the diaspora will be happy to hear from this guest of mine. He has no fanfare about him because he's a humble man. Humility, as far as I'm concerned, is what this man is about. Suffice to say that he has a BA in economics, his master's, and has been a consultant in the region in his field of economics. A dedicated common man that despite his rising stature, and I know that for sure because I lived in that area, he has never left his community, and he has lived with the community from where he came and where he rose, to the fullest, with a passion and determination. Rarely seen, really, in this pristine land of ours, because many of us tend to think the moment we rise, we move. We don't want to know, but I know this man has never moved, never, ever, because I'm from there too, to an extent. So without further ado, I want to introduce you tonight to the leader of the opposition, the Honorable Philip J.Pierre. Sir, good evening.
Hi, then. How are you?
I'm well. I heard that you had to rush to the hospital. I hope everything is fine.
Not me.
I don't fight with your brother. I know.
Be careful. Be careful.
No, you're fit as...
I'm good, praise God.
Good, thank God for that.
My brother isn't well, not me. I'm fine, thank God.
Let me not beat about the bush too much, but let's just immediately get into the deep end. Your critics, as you know, have asked the question time and time again, and I hear it sometimes, whether what has he done for his constituency? What is, what is with him to that extent that he can lead the country? What do you say to that?
Dennis, thanks for having me. Thank you very much for having me. I know that this is a long appointment that we've had, that we haven't met earlier.
Yes, quite.
Nothing lasts forever, and then the time came and I'm here, and I'm happy to be here. I'm just say hello to all the listeners, all the viewers, particularly those in the diaspora. Say hello to them. You asked what I've done in my constituency. Is that what you asked that?
Yes.
It's a long story. I guess the people who asked that, they never lived in my constituency. They do not live there. They weren't aware of what's happening there. And in the business of politics, people will say these things. I mean, if you find nothing to say about someone, you will say something. My constituency. First of all, my constituency is Castries East. And a lot of people think Castries East is Marchand. And Castries East comprises of several areas. And it's a diverse. If you want diversity, you look for it in Castries East. So I represent, at some point in time, Castries East was the second largest constituency in the country. So I represent quite a diverse nature of persons. When I don't want to take you down memory lane, but if you go down memory lane, you'll understand that in Castries East, the quality of life has improved tremendously. When you tell people, when you say these kind of things, it's difficult because, as I said, many other people who say that don't live there. They don't live there. And I'll be the first one to say there's need for improvement. And I think the next stage of the development of Castries East is to put in the improvements to the housing stock, to the housing infrastructure. And that is not easy, but we're going to get there. I have a plan which we're going to get to. All right, let's look at Castries East from 1997. Do you know in 1997 there were places, and I want to start from, because I said it's a large constituency, from Pave. The place in Pave where there was no electricity. No electricity. That's a few minutes from town. There was no electricity. I want to say it again, no electricity. First thing we had to do, we had to get electricity to all areas of Pavi. We did that. Then there was no water. You may recall the brigade of water carriers, because there was no water in Pavi. And anybody who lived there, and many people who lived there, and they've moved out. They remember that they used to have to go and take water at the end of Pavi by there was a standpipe right in the corner of the road. Right in the corner of the road, people used to have to come down there with their buckets to carry water up the hill. Vans used to be parked there. There were guys who made a living by carrying water up the hill because there was no water at the hill, in the Pavi hill. Top of Pavi, Rock Hall, no water. We had to change that, and not right now, up to now, we've done the water problem. I'm speaking about quality of life, what makes social infrastructure, I'm speaking about. Then we left there, and if you'd entered, let's leave Pavi and let's go into the main Marshall area. If it doesn't matter, you were greeted by garbage. Again, and we have pictures, one day we'll show it. You were greeted by garbage, a stench. There was garbage all over. There was garbage all over. We had to clear it. So what we did, we got some small garbage trucks, and we went into the boulevard, and we cleaned it. So we cleaned it. We cleaned the entrance of the constituency. So we got it looking better, feeling better. You won't enter in a piece of garbage. Then let us just stay there and go into Touge. Well, you've seen the recent situation in Touge where we have a children's park, which this government has refused to maintain, a travesty to the children of this country. This government is playing politics with a park for kids. And at that point, when we started, and we got it, by the way, with the Taiwanese funds, we made it. There was, and then if you saw the children, the way the children enjoyed that park. I mean, there were swings, there was Wi-Fi, the adults used to come, the parents and the children used to be on the benches, have some ice cream, and the kids used to play on the swing, and the children were literally happy. This government wanting to practice political retribution against me. I have no children who play in the park. I have one daughter, she's in her 20s, so she doesn't play in any park. So just wanting to practice political retribution against me, have refused to maintain it. They've refused to maintain it. They've refused to fix the swings, and they've disconnected the Wi-Fi. So the park has to be closed because of that. They have refused to do it. So then into that whole Touge area. And if you go into that area, I mean, people, one day I was in the US city of Ohio on an airport, and I met a guy who said to me, he said, Mr. Pierre, he said, right. He said, I was home for Christmas, and then I could carry my suitcase by myself up to my mother's house. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, because before, when I was a boy, to get to my mother's house was mud.
Correct.
And I could not carry my suitcase up there. And then right now I could take my suitcase up and run. I see, he actually said, I actually run up the hill with my suitcase. Now, these are things these are things that you have to feel it to know it. So what we did is that we got this whole area concreted. You got steps. People can get comfortable to their homes. We put railings on the steps. It sounds small if you live somewhere else where you have highways and things. But when you're in that area where you have mud to get to your home, and you can't, and you fall, and elderly people who have to go to the doctor can't get there, and an ambulance can't get there, and the fire service can't get there because they have to go from mud where it's raining. And then, so right now, in that area now, the steps, and I want to make one point. Every time I'm out of government, and for my 24 years of representation, I've been out of government for 10 years. And that's an important point to note. For these 10 years, I've been out of government. So this government does nothing for my constituency. Anytime I'm in opposition, they do nothing for the constituency. I have no allocation. Nobody calls me to tell me what has to be done, what I need to be done. And they give it to the opposition candidate who I defeat and who I will defeat again. they give it to them, they give them resources, so they go and they play politics. And the same refrain, what Pierre has done. So we into tours, we've done that, and there were no lights. You can imagine dark lights and mud and things. So we've got that in a good state. When we get back in government, because it wouldn't be done when I am not in government, we'll do some refinement, etc. Then the same Toulouse area, there's a road behind. When it's Ferrance, there's a road. The reason why we did that is there was only one entrance in that area. Then, because of the Black Mali issue, which we'll come to in a while, so then we had to get a road. So there's a road in the back. So there's an exit. There's another exit. So we've got into Toulouse area. Then you into in the Black Mali area. I don't know if you remember, there was a land slippage. Where all that area came down. All the houses in that area came down. We had to relocate the people. We relocated them. We paid their rent for them, and we gave them land at Kareli. If you want to speak about land reform and creating wealth and empowering people, it happened in my constituency. These people, we took them out of the area because we thought that the area was not fit because the land was still slipping. We had to abandon the road. We paid their rent for years, and we gave them land at $2.50 a square foot at Kareli. Now that's under my representation in that area. Then you leave it and you go into the George Charles Boulevard. George Charles Boulevard, we've built in George Charles Boulevard nearly $500,000 worth of retaining walls, retaining structures to stop the water from flooding the place. That was the mid-1997 and 2016. One semi government, not in the 24 years, in the 14 years. Make that point. The 14 years. We built retaining structures in that whole boulevard area. So when rain falls, there's no flood in the boulevard area.
But didn't you not do that in Entrepot also?
We get in there.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a talk.
Yeah, good.
See, because the people stay at their homes in the comfort of their homes in the mansions, and they say a lot of things, which sometimes you have to bring the truth. To use a friend of mine's word, bring the truth to light.
To light, yes, indeed, yes.
Yes, you have to bring the truth to light. So we did all this. That's about $500,000 worth of.
Yes, quite.
If not more. Right? But there's a serious problem in the George Charles Boulevard of waste disposal, because the main problem in my constituency is land tenure, land. The ownership of the land, the people who live there don't own the land.
Correct.
You see, because at some point that whole area was a middle class, upper middle class area. At some point, and all these people migrated, internal migration. They either left the country or they went to live in other areas up north mainly. So they've left these houses, left this land there, and people just moved in. So we have to get the whole system of land, which I will come to you in a while. I can speak to you up to tomorrow about my constituency.
I know that.
But I think we have to push it up. So we did these structures. We brought it right into Entrepot. Joining from there. This right. We saved the Marshall School. Because when rain fell, the Marshall School used to get flooded. We went right. I think there's one area that we have to do. One area that, again, I'm not in government, so it's not been done. We went into Entrepot. We saved the Entrepot playing field.
Correct. Yeah.
We saved the Entrepot playing field. Then we went and we saved all the houses.
The houses
along Entrepot. All the houses. Join it right to the Saint Lucia's home.
Because my mother's house is in Entrepot.
Yes.
You know that.
So we saved that. Then we went into Entrepot and we did the Garden Spring Road. All these retaining walls.
Yes.
There's a friend of mine, Titus Prefill. His mother-in-law lives there. Her house, this lady, when rain fell, this lady was in trepidation. We did all these walls.
I know.
Millions of dollars for work. We brought it up to the Hess School.
That's right.
Saving the Hess School because Coco Charles had used some natural irrigation or by planting some trees, by building some forests. He built some forest trees. He planted some forest trees to help it natural to hold the soil. We had to support it with some retaining walls. We did it all across there. So we saved all these houses in Garden Grove. We saved all these houses in Anchipo. These houses were in the river. We built all these retaining structures. Anchipo is the best kept housing area in the country. All the roads in there fixed. You remember in 1997, up to 2006, 2011, these roads were in a mess. When we came back to 2016, we built all these roads in Anchipo. Build them. Anchipo has no bad roads. All the gaps in Anchipo are done. All the side roads. We did all the electricity, the garbage collection. Now it has deteriorated.
I want to stop you here, and when we come back, because we're going for the first break, and then we'll come back, and I want you to continue with this, because two things here. I have lived in Tourouge as a boy, and my mother's house still in Antrepo, so I know, and I'm still part and parcel of Castries East. So that's where I vote. So I'll have to come back. So we're going to take our first break. Welcome back to Head to Head, and tonight it's a wonderful evening for me, because I am with the leader of the opposition, and he's explaining about his constituency. A lot of it I am familiar with, because I remember in 1998 for the Business Focus magazine, I sat with him in his for meeting his constituents, and he wouldn't even probably remember that because I did a story on that. And so I'm listening to what the leader of the opposition has to say, and it makes sense to me, and I hope it makes some sense to you. So
So if you want to speak about these things, we can speak about the massive social infrastructure projects if you want to, but just a few little things. In areas like Bagatelle, places called Jerusalem, Texas, no electricity.
Yes.
No electricity. We put electricity there. We created all these footpaths. This area was mud. And I can hear the self-righteous folks in speaking, say, oh, that's hot. Of course, it's very important to the people who live there. And I tell you something, Dennis, people would not have re-elected me if I'd done nothing.
Exactly.
You understand? So let's get back to Bagatelle and Arundel Hill. In Arundel Hill, right, there was a collection of shoes across on the road. Collection of shoes, because people had to have 2 pairs of shoes to get to their homes.
Correct. Yes.
Collection of shoes, and if you went you would see a set of shoes by the road. Right? We got these people lights. We got them to their homes comfortably. We started some programs. We started a water conservation program where we give people tanks and we drain the water from their roof into the tank so that they could save water, use water for the household purposes. This government stopped that. Yeah. So all these things, and the people in the constituency can tell you how these things have improved their quality of life. Now, we're speaking about massive social infrastructure projects. We spent $1 million on the Marshall Grounds. The Marshall Grounds got lights before Sabina Park in Jamaica. We redid the entire field playing surface. When you play there, you should know that was a place where, the Marshall Grounds was a cemetery. You know that?
I know that, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now it's a place where sometimes number of footballers have broken their leg in the stones in there. We did that whole Marshall Grounds over. We put lights in there. We put changing rooms. We put facilities. Talking about facilities, I'll say that again because I know some people want to play politics with that. We were in the George Charles Boulevard, I say that, and from representative to representative, including Romanus Lansico, who was there for 15 years before me,
Quite.
wanted to put toilet facilities in the boulevard. Because as I told you, the way the land space is, it's not easy. So we went to the Caribbean Development Bank. They contacted, at that time, the Basic Needs Trust Fund through the Poverty Reduction Fund, and they sent in the experts, and they did a socio-economic survey of the place. and they found that the people wanted facilities. So the CDB again sent social scientists down in the area to speak to the people. And they said, yes, we can fund it. So the government, we acquired the land, and the CDB funded it. Nearly $1 million to build one of the most modern conversations in the region. Because the people need it. And I repeat myself again, when you sit in your mansion, you do not know what that means to people. These people are people. They feel, they love, they have the same aspirations as you in your mansion. Mm-hmm. They have the same aspirations. Their children want to go to school. Their children want to play. Their children want to have a proper way of life. I get very emotional when I say these things, because people remain, most of them forgetting where they came from. They forget and they laugh at these people. And they say, oh, you're talking about a toilet. Mm-hmm. You understand? It hurts
me.
Yes,
I heard that.
It really hurts me. Because most of these people are just self-righteous.
Yes.
You understand? They forgot where they came from.
Exactly.
You understand? And when you have people in 2020 cannot get proper toilet facilities, they can't get a decent bath, and you sit and you laugh at them because you think it's funny, because by some means, some of it illegal, you happen to come out of there. It really irritates me. I get very emotional about it, and I make no bones about it. You understand?
But no bones about it. Two things you haven't really mentioned, and I think they're important, is how Bishop's Gap was in these old days, and what is it today. But not only that, but the community center.
I'm just getting in the social infrastructure, right?
Right.
And we're speaking about the George L. Boulevard Comfort Station, right?
Right.
So the CDB agreed, and they spent $1 million in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this government refuses to maintain it. They refuse to maintain it. And they lie. I heard the mayor speaking some foolishness. and they lie about all kinds, just because they want to practice political retribution. You understand? They're allowing the people to suffer. And I feel very strongly about it. And I don't care what anybody says. These people are people. I'll defend them. I will not allow them to be discriminated against. I will not allow them to be stigmatized because they have the same aspirations as anybody else. Not because of their circumstances and because they live in what they call ghettos. We must treat them in that nature. I'm going to defend them all the time. And my purpose in life is to improve their quality of life. And not by bluffing them with contracts to cut grass near election time, by uplifting them. So we get back to the social infrastructure. We built the Marshall Police Station, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. We built the Marshall HRDC, mm-hmm. started by Romanus mm-hmm. Lancico. Didn't start, he had the idea. And again, we went to the European, the European Development Fund, the same people who built the hospital, and then they helped us, and we got it done. We put a daycare center downstairs there for the children. There's a daycare center there, and we have a little library on the side in Cassius. I did that. Then we did the Marshall Police Station. We repaired the Marshall School. We put a kitchen in the Marshall School. We put a new wing, and we tiled. These children used to go to school, and there were no tiles on the floor. Mm-hmm. In some areas. Mm-hmm. I see some petition for some more tiles in some parts of the school. We're going to help. We tiled the top floor of that school. We improved the toilet facilities there. And I tell you about what we did to save the school. We built a step in the back for fire protection. Because in terms of when there's a fire, there's only one exit. We built another exit in the back of the school. That is in the Marshall School. Then we did a court in Pave. And again, I never forget one day I had a public meeting in Pave, and I said I'm going to build a court for the young people. A guy passed and he said, "Man, you're a politician, so bluffing people, man." And he said some cuss words, some choice words, which will offend the ears of your listeners.
Right.
And then we built a court in Pave, mm-hmm. right? And sad to tell you, it was vandalized. Very sad. We had a court. We had toilet facilities and a bathroom and lights. It was vandalized. Very sad to tell you. Vandalized. Again, for political motives, but let's leave that alone. It's vandalized. So we had a court we built a court in Pave. We repaired the James Belgrave Court opposite the Marshall grounds. Yeah, that was vandalized again. You see, it is really vandalized. Right? And I want to make a point to you today. And I'm saying to my constituents, I can look them square in the eye and tell them that I have a zero tolerance towards the vandalism of government facilities. And I will use my best efforts with the strongest possible law enforcement to ensure that when government structures are built, they are not vandalized. Because the James Beverly Court was vandalized. Now it's nothing there. But that was rebuilt. And we're going to do some more work on it. We're in the process of fixing the stands at the martial grounds. But again, these stands are vandalized. People jump on the top of it.
Yes, go ahead.
Right? So we talk about social infrastructure. Then we redid the Enchipo post office. Not Enchipo, the Bocage post office. The Bocage post office was in somebody's home. That's where it was.
Yes, go ahead.
We moved it to a decent place. I mean, I got some political problem for that too, but we had to move it. The first thing we did, we repaired the Tiroche court. We repaired the Enchipo court. We put lights in the Bocage court and seating arrangements. Just vandalized. You understand? So, in terms of infrastructure, I mean, and I'm not going to tell you about children who got scholarships and book bursaries. That's on the government's program. So, you have to look at Cashews East from two levels: at the government level and at the constituency level. At the government level, we suffer from the same problems everybody suffers from: unemployment. We of course suffer from it. But and finally, every road in my constituency is good except the Marshall Main Road. And I'm going to say it again: every main road in my constituency is good except the Marshall Main Road. Bocage, Arundel Hill, Bagatelle, Pavi, Rockall, every main road, Enchipo, every main road is good except the Marshall Main Road. You know, so when they say, "Oh, fix the Marshall Main Road," you don't know why the Marshall Main Road has not been fixed? Because there are a number of utility fixtures in the ground, and that means you have to remove them, and you have to where do you put them? So it's a massive job to do. That is why the Marshall Road, and you don't want to resurface and dig it again anytime a pipe goes bad. That's why the Marshall Road has not been resurfaced. So I feel very proud of the people of the constituency who have displayed their confidence in me, who have seen and who know how the quality of life has changed. In terms of problems of unemployment, I agree. I like everywhere else. In terms of cost of living, I agree. But in terms of the little things that makes their life better, I'm very satisfied. And I have more to do. In this election, I have a master plan which I've just designed so that we now have to deal with the economic issues in the constituency. How we can convert, how we can have some wealth creation by making people earn a living from the constituency. But we have to control crime, you have to control deviancy, you have to control other things. But I'm very satisfied that in the 14 years that I've represented in government, I want to make the point in government, because this government, and you see,
yes, quite,
government, and you see their trick now. What Pierre has done for Marchand, their trick now, because they know that they continue to deprive the people of the constituency anytime I'm in government, I'm in opposition. But I want to assure them that the people of the constituency understand, and they continue to understand, that Philip J.Pierre has represented them in the best way he can, with the limitations of national government.
But the idea is that what we are seeing is the deprivation of the constituency leaders that are labor-controlled areas. And then you find the people that were defeated are the ones who seem to be the ones who are given the
That happens in
the
all
funds.
the 6 seats.
This is ridiculous.
That happens in all the 6 seats that
cannot be.
The
Constituency representative should be the one.
That's not what happens. That happens in the 6. Right now, there are a number of little contracts given to the boys.
Yes.
They call them the boys. You understand? People that they refuse to see about their education. People who they've deprived their children of computers to go to school. Correct. But right now they call them the boys. So giving the boys work is to get them to cut some grass in around the place and get them a couple of dollars. That's the new politics. Seeing about the boys by getting them to cut grass. What I will do for the boys is a youth economy.
Yeah, good.
That's what I'll do for them. To give them, to make them turn their skills into entrepreneurship and their talents into business.
So in other words, that you are really looking at a skills economy for our youth.
A youth
That-
economy
that-
that will use the
exactly.
skills of the young people.
I think
to
that is
make
very
to
important.
turn them into business people.
Exactly.
Only yesterday, I met a young guy in my office. The guy is a very good. He's a producer. The two young guys actually produce music.
Mm-hmm.
Two young guys. You know what they wanted? They wanted a laptop and a converter. The converter cost $59 to order it, and that's all the guys needed for him to go up, just to start their music. A youth economy will provide that for them, and that's what I want to offer them. So giving the boys to cut grass by the road is political gimmickry, right? Which I've encouraged the boys to take it.
But if they're doing that, why did they stop STEP?
No, but I've just made a point.
Doesn't make sense.
I have
does
just
it?
made a point. Political gimmickry. Because it's not a matter of fooling people. But what I
Yes,
want to
quite.
do, and this is why, and this is the relationship I have with my constituents, a relationship of trust.
Yes.
You understand? I don't get them to cut grass because they are the boys. You understand? I don't do that. The boys know that the parliamentary rep will see about their sustainability, will see about giving their children exercise books, giving their children notebooks, and will see about their livelihoods, not election bluff for a few votes.
Okay, I will stop you here because we're going to now come to our third segment. And when I come there, I want to really go into something that we hear so often. For example, if Pierre wants to be the Prime Minister, why all those years he did not challenge Kennedy Anthony? That is something that I want to put to you. Why was this? And we'll come back to that. So we're going to take our second break and into our final in a while. Welcome back to Head to Head. And without further ado, I must tell you right away that I have the leader of the opposition with me. And as always, listening to him, it is. I remember all of those because he may not even remember that in 1997, that before the election, he was down. He was up at what you call it, Bocage up there. I think coming down the road with the constituency people to go down the road. I remember those days. Anyhow, but I'm going to ask you this question because so many have asked that, and it's a crunch question. They say, well, all those years, why didn't you, challenge Kennedy Anthony for the leadership of the Labour Party? Why was that? Were you concerned that you would not be a good leader, or why? Why was that?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what being a good leader is. Being a good leader means working for yourself all your life. That's what a good leader is. I've been employed by myself. I've worked for the government only on holidays when I was at university. Then I worked with Coopers and Libran, with Pankel Foster for a few years. And then from that time, I've been self-employed. I've earned my own living. I've not depended on anybody for salary. So I've never had to protect my contract. And that's why I could be in politics for so long, because I was independent. So being a good leader, you have to have confidence in your own independence and your own abilities. And I never had to beg anybody for any job or be able to keep my mouth quiet because I was afraid to lose my contract. You understand? Because my contract was my brain, my contract was my ability, and my contract was my integrity. So when we speak about leadership, we have to start we have to start from there. Now let's talk about the leadership of the Saint Lucia Labour Party. Saint Lucia Labour Party, and people should read the Constitution. The Labour Party can choose its leader only after general election. Are you hearing me?
Yes, quite.
Only after general election. After general election, the Labour Party has an election for the leader. Okay. How many general elections we've had? 1997, the general election.
Yes, right. Go on.
In 2001, there was a general election. Kenny Anthony won the election 14-3.
Correct.
Then the election for leadership came in 2001. You challenge a man who won 14-3?
I wouldn't, but there you are.
And I'll tell you something. I respect the leadership and the role that leaders have to play, and I give full cooperation to the leaders that have been chosen by the people. I may not agree with what Alan Shastri does, but Alan Shastri is the Prime Minister of Saint Lucia. And I always see that. Up to yesterday, I was saying to some of my people that Alan Shastri is the Prime Minister of Saint Lucia. So I don't like his policies, I don't like it. But I have to give deference to the Prime Minister of Saint Lucia, not Alan Shastri. The Prime Minister of Saint Lucia, the office. I respect the office of Prime Minister. Now, Kenny Anthony was leader of the opposition. I wasn't the one to put him there. The Labour Party delegates put him there.
Yeah.
So 2001, there was that election. 2006, there was a convention in the convention. Kenny Anthony won because we were in government. We lost the election in 2006. Kenny Anthony put himself back up for re-election as leader of the party. Now, Kenny Anthony's history or Kenny Anthony's contribution to Saint Lucia has not been fully documented. And I was very proud to serve under Kenny Anthony. Kenny Anthony is not God. Kenny Anthony has made mistakes. I disagree with some things Kenny Anthony did, or we did, but Kenny Anthony was leader of the party. Now, so Kenny Anthony's history has not been properly documented. We were somewhere last week, and we were documenting what this Labour Party is. And some of the time, we must talk about how this Labour Party has transformed the life in Saint Lucia from 1997. And it was when we started saying things that the Labour Party has done in Saint Lucia under Kenny Anthony, we got lost. Saint Lucia's modernity, modern Saint Lucia, has been created on the Labour Party and Kenny Anthony. Think about Saint Lucia in 1997. Think about it now. Think about the time 2009, 97, 2001, 2006. Think about where our country was. The infrastructure, the housing, the social development, the legislation, which this Labour Party has done. And think about 2006, 2011, and see what happened there. So I think that part of the problem with the Labour Party is we have not told our story. We have allowed other people to tell our stories for us. So we get to Kenny Anthony, and leader of the Labour Party. 2006, Kenny Anthony lost the election, but we decided that Kenny Anthony had produced, he had modernized the party to a certain extent, he had with the country, so he was re-elected. We won the election in 2011. So I must get rid of him in 2011? Question?
No,
Question?
I don't expect
you got rid of a man who won elections?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
in 2016, Kenny Anthony lost and he resigned. So what's the idea of challenging? Challenging Kenny Anthony to what?
but it's not only
Kenny
that.
Anthony never brought the government or the party into any disrepute. Kenny Anthony never broke any laws. So this challenge of Kenny Anthony to what?
But you're a party man.
But I mean, challenge to what? Challenge
exactly.
for
So
what and to what?
I mean, the
You
party
understand?
has chosen.
Yeah.
The
The
party
delegates
has
chose
chosen his
Kenny
leader.
Anthony.
Exactly.
And Kenny Anthony has worked with me, and he is not in any way. I always make the point to my friends, and they laugh, that I can't read anybody's heart. I don't want to do it. I can't. I'm not trying. Kenny Anthony has worked with me. He's advised me. He's spoken. We've discussed. And Kenny Anthony has not, to the best of my knowledge, raised one finger to interfere with my leadership of the Social Labour Party. I can't read his heart. I'm not trying to. He can't read mine. Nor can I read yours or anybody's else. So all I can say to you, I have no regrets. I have no regrets in working with Kenny Anthony as leader of the Labour Party. I have no regrets.
And I have no regrets if you would be the leader of the country, the Prime Minister. I want to put something to you, so you can read my heart now. Because you said you could read my heart.
Can't do it.
Well, I'm telling you.
Yes.
Let me just read something here for you. And I want you to really tell me what you feel about that. It says, the role of a politician is very complex. The candidate should first acknowledge the ongoing characteristics. 1, a strong and well-defined character. 2, a non-controversial personality. 3, one who is able to listen and quickly assess matters to the satisfaction of the voter. 4. Being able to present the right perception. 5. One who is able to readily accept and convince the voter that his past should not affect his future performance. Next is a very confident individual who should avoid vacillation, and a very disciplined and diplomatic person. These are significant requirements for any one person. Is that what you think, that all these things that you are?
You see, I tell you something.
As a politician?
I tell you something. Mm-hmm. There is no one who's become Prime Minister of Saint Lucia who's coming in with more on-the-job experience than me.
Quite.
There's no one. Mm. You see? I've served in some of the biggest ministries in the country.
I know, 3 ministries.
And one of these days we can talk
tourism,
about... One of these we
yes,
we can talk about them.
Infrastructure,
yeah?
yes.
One of them,
yes,
we can talk about them all the time.
Yeah.
These ministries are ministries of not only importance, but ministries where accusations of corruption are high. You understand? These ministries. I have been in these ministries.
Commerce.
Incentives,
yes.
Investment, more incentives,
right.
Infrastructure, massive projects, direct awards, the whole works.
Yeah, I know.
you understand? So, in these ministries, I was the one who introduced financial services into Saint Lucia. I was a minister who introduced financial services in Saint Lucia.
I know.
So, these ministries. So, in terms of on-the-job experience, no one has come in with more experience than me.
Even tourism.
I was Minister of Tourism.
I know, Minister of Tourism.
And
you brought in a Virgin Airlines and American Airlines to St. Lucia. So,
I have been responsible with the government of the Labour Party for the development of more hotels in Ainspeed than any Minister of Tourism.
Quite.
Any Minister of Tourism.
Quite.
The record is there. I have been responsible with the government of the Labour Party for the development and the building of more hotels than any Minister of Tourism, including the Prime Minister.
I know that.
And that's an unchallengeable truth.
It's fact.
Right. So why can't I not be Prime Minister?
Exactly.
If the people decide that?
Exactly.
I need now. Why?
But this is a facade.
I'm not eloquent.
You know, it's just what
I stammer. I mean, I've made a point. I stammer truthfully.
But Churchill did to an extent.
You understand? So these things. But I think there's a deeper underlying problem.
Yes.
It's a problem of people. Some sense the belief that people should not aspire.
Yes.
And it's a very, unless, look at the people who have become Prime Minister of Saint Lucia. Look at Stephenson King. He gave Prime Minister because Compton made him Prime Minister.
Exactly.
And as soon as Compton died, they were taken. Look at Von Lewis. Arguably, Von Lewis is one of the brightest guys I've ever met.
In Saint Lucia, yes.
And not modern Saint Lucia.
Yes, I know. He's spoken about everywhere.
Yeah. Look at how Von Lewis was treated because somebody didn't make, because he, so I mean, I have no concerns of my ability. I have absolutely no concern about my ability to be Prime Minister of this country. I can't do it by myself. I have a good team of men and women. And I'm sure with that team of men and women, St. Lucia will be a better place.
But you are you can become what we say in the business world now, the idea that you are the transformational leader. And the transformational leader is the one that engages people.
You see?
And this is what you said in your virtual thing towards the end, where you say, but I do not have all the answers, but together as a team, we can solve the problems facing our island. because it's teamwork that we need. We need to listen. At the end of the day, you have to make the decision if you're the prime minister. But you still have to listen and take in things, not just go and be autocratic or be the dictator. And I think that is the type of prime minister that you become, the transformational prime minister that listens.
You see, the idea that to be prime minister, you must be the loudest man in the room.
No, no.
And make the most noise and speak with the best accents.
No.
That is not my idea of being a prime minister. No. Being a prime minister means you must be able to listen.
Correct.
And then when you listen, you assimilate what you're told, look at the facts, and come to a decision. But be able to make a decision and stand by it.
Exactly.
And I must tell you, from since I've become leader of the party, I've had full cooperation. I repeat myself again, I carried anybody's hat. Full cooperation from the men and women in the party. And we attract, if you look at the candidates we have, we're attracting new candidates, we're attracting new people who are putting their careers on the line and coming with us. Because in this government, you saw what the government just did to civil servants. This is a government that vindictiveness is part of the modus operandi. Yeah, they just can't help it. Yeah?
Exactly.
And there are people who are putting their careers on the line. Careers. And come and say, I want to put my hand up to be in this movement. And I'm very proud of them. And I'm sure with their expertise and their dedication, their commitment, we can transform Saint Lucia. Because Saint Lucia is in need of transformation. And people talk about transformation, but to be able to take out transformation, you must live transformation. You must be able to understand what the people want, not what you want. Politics is not what you think about yourself. Politics is what people think about you. That's what politics is about. You can think whatever you want about yourself. You can think you're the greatest brain in the country. You can think you have the best plans in the country. If the people don't think so, then you continue to write your plans.
Okay.
And that's a difference.
The time is upon us, but before we go, what I read out to you came out in I must tell you in 1997 in The Voice. It was on Saturday the 15th of March 1997, and it came from, and that was in your party at the time, the person who was the chairman of the NDC then. This is he who wrote this.
Chairman of NDC then?
NDC.
Who was that?
National Development Corporation.
Who was that?
That was Michael Chasney.
Okay.
He was the one who came up with what a politician should be, what I read out to you. In other words, when I look at this, and in my research, I found this was very demanding. And I believe that if it's that demanding, then how many can rise to that stature? And I believe that you probably one of those that could rise to that stature. So in other words, he was writing about you. So, my
so I guess we've come to the end?
Yes, thanks very much.
Well,
say something to somebody, those in the diaspora, because I know you have so many people in the diaspora.
Thank you very much, Dennis, for having me. Thank you for watching and listening to us. I want to invite you. In fact, I'd be very happy. I'd like to come and speak to you about my vision for Saint Lucia.
Yes.
Where I want to take our country. I hope you can invite me for some.
Oh, I will. Good Lord, yes.
I wanted to say to you that Saint Lucia is in need of change. Saint Lucia is in need of transformation. We understand that we live in different times. We live in a post-COVID era. Life will never be what it was before. So we need change. We need a government that will listen to people, that will talk to people. We need a government that will understand that the people matter, that the people are the centerpiece of any country's development. I want to tell you, I want you to join us in that movement for change. I want to tell you in the diaspora, we appreciate your contribution to this country. We know you're far away. and we know that you would like to come and be part of this change. But that is why we want to protect your lands for you. This is why we fundamentally disagree with 1,000 acres of land being given to one man. We think that land should be kept for the people of the country. We think our resources should be kept for the people, and we do not think our resources should be squandered, because we are the only ones who will save ourselves, who will save our planet, who will save our people. I thank you very much, Dennis.
Thanks very much, Philip, and for sure, we must take that discussion further on, because there's so much to talk about, and as the time approaches, we will do so.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.